win these next 2 games and look forward to TSM tomorrow and say, hey, we should have been in playoffs. We just got it together a little bit too late.
Right, a lot of self-proving at the end of the split for OpTic Gaming, and seeing where Stixxay's play has come back to for himself is where we saw him first on CLG with Aphromoo by his side. Biofrost as well, taking that kind of commander position a little bit more as it becomes expected of these veterans. Man phase to start off our final game of the day. CLG and OpTic underway here, phase 1, and the junglers are getting jangled. A jingle jangle.
I mean, you think about ReignOver, he was highly criticized at the start of the split, where it was like, ReignOver, he's nothing without Huhi. There's all these criticisms getting thrown out there where he just hasn't looked like his former self. Well, the meta shifts slightly. They start getting a little bit more of their footing under them.
Yep.
And CLG, ReignOver's been looking great on multiple champions. Zac, Sejuani, Olaf, right, being back in the meta. It's kind of a permaban against him.
There's the 2 junglers on your screen for a moment as Xayah gets banned out to split up the Xayah combo.
I like
Darshan
that.
first pick.
Yeah, I think banning that away the Xayah, because if blue side first picks it, then you're kind of forced to pick Rakan or deal with a duo. And Rakan by himself without Xayah isn't as potent as Xayah by herself. She's still a very strong AD carry, still top tier.
Varus for Stixxay. Few plays for him, 707 of Echo Fox on that second day of week 8, so he'll be coming in comfortable on that AD carry. And now we have Dhokla picking up Ezreal and the Zac for Akaadian. So Akaadian rather, going to be looking to start these fights off. See what Arrow can do on Ezreal this game.
Yeah, Arrow with some self-sufficiency here. Doesn't really have to worry about getting protected from LemonNation or Akaadian. They can go ahead and dive in, and then he'll bring up the rear. And we'll see what ReignOver goes for here. Is it Rek'Sai with the bans coming through? The Sejuani is still up there.
Yeah.
I got excited. I love Rek'Sai, but Sejuani is still up there. She's not as high priority as the Skarner, the Olaf, even the Kha'Zix, and I think the Zac as well, because her main build used to be Cinderhulk into Warmogs. And remember, Cinderhulk and Warmogs actually both just got nerfs, where Cinderhulk doesn't give you as much bonus HP.
When you got to be at that HP.
And the Warmogs now has a higher HP threshold before it turns online. So I actually want to watch and see what his build is here, if it has like a Knight's Vow in it, or if it even goes Warmogs anyway.
Yeah, it used to feel so good. You're like, we fought. Wait 5 seconds. We can fight again.
Exactly.
We have the Orianna locked in for Huhi. I like it. Love seeing Orianna in the LCS and what these guys can do with some shockwave combos. We got a pretty beefy team to set these fights up, and that is a blind pick for Huhi. Feels outright with that one, as we've seen Orianna multiple times. Gangplank gets through. Been on the ban list quite a few times on that blue side. It's going to be the hands of Dhokla this game.
The Camille ban targeted over towards Darshan. And it might just be some mid lane bans here. There's a lot still on the table, but yeah, a lot of champions were not banned out that you typically kind of see banned out. The Swain is still available for both of these teams, which has become a bit of a power pick lately with all the buff that he got.
Good call.
Same with Ryze and Azir.
Darshan's been on a lot of tanks, but they say we don't want him to have power anyways. Take the Camille away. What was that Fiora game? Was it? No, they haven't really been banning it against them. Only once as well. Still going for the Mount Guided Shogath. And we have the Morgana ban out from Biofrost to start off anything early in that bot lane. What's the final ban here from OpTic Gaming before we see what the second phase of picks gives us? 7 seconds left as Zix talks it out. Syndra. Oh, yeah, it's powerOfEvil. Makes sense.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. He has loved that champion. I think he even played it 2 weeks ago. Didn't have a great performance on it, but even before that, he had a game where he went 9-1-3. Wasn't able to win it up against FlyQuest, but he was doing his damnedest to carry.
All these little caveats.
It's a team game, Riv. You can have that killer performance, but
you're telling me. No, I'm just kidding. Thresh locked in for OpTic. That's been a while since anybody did a Teemo hover. Ooh. He will always hover the Warwick, though.
Yeah, his first love.
First love of the game. A little Stixxay history.
The reworked one,
oh, so good.
Not as great for him. He
not as great.
Loved that first one.
Ooh.
No, I don't think so. The Orianna's already locked in.
Spin the stars in the top lane. We get the lock. Actually, bring him in support. Just throw out stars from the brush. Stixxay locks in the Tahm Kench. A bit more safety here. Are they trying to protect Stixxay more than we think? Ooh, what do we got?
Oh,
That's why! I was wondering, I was like, what are they going to protect more than the Varus? It is the Lucian that gets locked in.
Yeah, but the interesting thing here is it's a top lane Lucian into the Gangplank. But remember, Gangplank can be a flex pick if you want him to go mid. Like, that's actually something that could be another layer here if OpTic say, all right, we're going to put Dhokla on a different champion. But I don't feel like much would actually deal too well.
This Ezreal could go mid.
But look at that! Wait, hold on.
Ezreal mid!
Is it Ezreal mid, or is it the, Or
are they Gangplanking Orianna?
Is it the famous Jhin mid that I've heard so much about randomly?
Oh my word. I think we've actually seen that a few times back in the day. 43 seconds on the clock. I like it. I like it. CLG says we're taking this one to the champion pools, and you can pick out of the hat what you want. Lucian to the top side, Huhi grabs his Orianna early, and they already got the AD carry in there to make them think, we don't want any AD carries for the top side. Well, it's Lucian on Darshan. We see the Ezreal mid now for powerOfEvil.
20
Arrow
seconds.
takes that Jhin. It
When
is
they
20
can swap.
seconds is when you got to swap.
That's it.
So they can make their corrections. If you didn't know that in Champion Select, that's why we swap away, and then you will see the slides on the screen appropriated to the players. We see what happens. I'm going to enjoy this a lot. A lot of first plays here. Darshan's been on a lot of the tanks. They took his Camille away. He said more damage. We're going for Lucian this game. We'll see what he can put up here. Last game of the day. CLG Gaming versus OpTic Gaming, as both these teams try to get a few more wins under their belts here at the end of the season.
Pulling out all the stops here. The Lucian top for Darshan up against Dhokla's Gangplank. The counter pick, we'll see if they're able to camp it, but I am watching this Ezreal mid. This is an old school pick here. powerOfEvil.
All right. Klepto teleport. Heal Airy on the side of Huhi. Things are looking good. Let's see what they have. We are on to the Rift. CLG versus OpTic Gaming. CLG at 7-9, looking to get that 8-9 or possibly 5-12. OpTic to get themselves through with a win here.
So far, CLG, like we said, they've had that 4-game winning streak against a lot of the top teams. In fact, those top 2 teams with Fox and Cloud9. And they want to come in and they want to win 6 in a row here and just show their fans, we could have made it. We did everything that we possibly could once we got it all together.
Yep.
It just didn't fall into place soon enough. Even 1 game soon enough is all it really would have taken them for CLG Gaming to be in the playoffs or at least have that run. And they want to show that that's really what mattered. It wasn't their own play. It was just kind of the things that happened around them. And OpTic, seems like they're going to pull out all the stops too. powerOfEvil, Klepto in the mid lane, and teleport. I don't think it's going to be AD. I think it's going to be AD. I think he's just going to be another AD
mobile
carry.
enough. Let's see here. What does he have on him? No AP, 77 AD to start. You expect. We'll see what his buys become. He'll still go for that tier and get his damage in, but we'll have to see what his item choices are, as he said.
Yeah. Ezreal has been played AD, he's been played jungle, he's been played mid lane. We're coming full circle again. I'm waiting for him to go back to jungle after this game because he just gets played everywhere. This marksman, that spell casting, spell slinging part of him. And yeah, they were just hatching a ward there.
Is he going to come down?
Hello! Gives him a lick.
Bone plate. Keeps him safe. Cooldowns are around. Nice W. A quick clear. Permafrost onto the big Raptor. ReignOver is off and running as Akaadian is on his red, starting on Raptors. He gets himself moving as well. Get the smite out. And he still stays pretty healthy as usual. We're going to keep track on this top lane. You see Darshan trying to push a little early as Dhokla setting up the CS.
Yeah, but Darshan's going to hit level 2 first. And you see, actually gets chunked. Dhokla is taking a big chunk top lane because of that.
You got to expect it.
He's trying to fight for the CS, and Darshan is just constantly punishing him. And the matchup that happened between Huhi and Licorice was really interesting because Huhi actually played it incredibly well on the Gangplank, where he's not even queuing minions, he's queuing the person over and over again with Grasp to get HP back and to just constantly try to push the Lucian out of lane, or at least equalize it.
Right.
Because he also was running, I believe, Relic Shield at the time, so every time he hit him, he had the Bandit passive.
Yep.
So he was actually still getting gold from trading, but now it's actually a worse matchup for GP because every time he queues onto the champion, he's not getting that extra gold.
What a great ward. Does Akaadian decide to stay as the passive? If they try to get into a fight, Akaadian does. Just in the last moment, he's on the top side of the map. He's going to be able to get himself into range. Gets the orange in. Oh, under the turret. He actually pulls ReignOver out, but he will get the kill. Solidifies that retribution there for Dhokla. Can teleport back into the lane.
Yeah, it's still
what a
minions,
start.
Though. That's a lot of minions to
absolutely.
miss. You see he's got 4 CS. You want it to be that Zac going down and having the passive pop,
right.
And you want to have the GP still alive because he burned his flash and his TP, and Darshan's just going to have to burn his TP and has flash advantage, which is huge.
Dhokla goes for the armor, has a little biscuit delivery to keep himself healthy with those oranges in lane, and double Dorans here is going to sting just that much more as Dhokla good to buy that cloth.
It's all about that punishing, and right now LemonNation actually doing a roam towards the mid lane here onto Huhi.
See if they get the damage down. It'd be great if he can push him past that river. The aggression started there. LemonNation has flash. Once they get him around the corner, they may try to make that happen. And the few hits come in. Looks like they're just going to let it roll. Oh, he waits, but he does get the flash. They were just making sure it was flash for flash.
Yeah, it took a long time. Yeah. It's like, is he ever going to do it? Is he ever going to trade for the flash?
Let's see this
one more time.
Well.
Akaadian, he's not even charging the E up just yet. He's going to go in, walks up, lands the Q, but Dhokla actually still takes a boatload of damage there from Darshan. But he forced ReignOver to get back into turret range, and that's what ended up kind of putting the final nail there in ReignOver's coffin.
Got it. It's all right. He pried him out. He's back out. Some breathing room.
Yeah, but this gives Darshan so much kill pressure. He's up in terms of items. He has the flash advantage too, so he'll whittle him down and put him in kill range, threat range, and then Darshan can actually go for dives and whatnot.
And at 28 to 18 CS, that gap's only going to get bigger. Just little mind games.
Yeah, LemonNation throwing the lantern backwards. Actually, there's nobody there to take that lantern. That was actually a really good mind game there from Lemon.
Love it. Got to make it happen. If they don't have vision on Akaadian either, it works that much better, and they don't. And you can see, as just before we went down to about 33 to 34 to 19, as Dhokla keeps getting denied these CS at the turret as he tries to pick it up. Those are going to be levels for Darshan too, so he gets to maximize damage. He gets another Q before Dhokla even levels a bit of his to fight back. See the push in, just keeping it outside the turret so it stacks even more. He has more time to harass Dhokla under the turret, in and out. And he's perfectly timing it with the minions. A little bit of love for the bot lane, but if you're not focusing the Kench, Stixxay quickly gobbled up to safety.
Yep, picking up that Tahm Kench does so much to protect AD carries and stop them from going down or even having some engagements that you want to trade back on and have it be a losing trade.
So tears stacking in the mid lane.
I like that from Darshan. Gets the minion aggro, pulls them all into the brush. This means they'll start stacking up and pushing a little bit slowly. And this gives time for him to deny a little bit more for Dhokla. You want to slow push. You don't want to fast push in these matchups. And there he goes. Hits level 6. Gonna try to go for the solo.
Ooh, minions! The slalom happens. Dhokla puts his skis on, gets down the hill quick enough, and it looks like he is in trouble, though. It's been a big hover for Akaadian towards the top side. Clears bottom, makes sure he can be top. One grab, a little bit of distance there. How far do they want it? They abduct him back. Big damage onto Huhi. Gets that heal down. One last shot. And now ReignOver has to be careful. Biofrost makes his way up on the teleport from his unsealed spellbook, and it looks like he's just going to be there for pressure. Good engagement on the side of OpTic.
Yeah, and that's because Lemon had roamed mid and traded flashes with Huhi. So Huhi doesn't have flash there. So Akaadian, even though that's a long distance for him to cover, like I had said, he knows that if he just flashes in R's afterwards, he's going to be able to grab him guaranteed. There's no way for Huhi to get out of that because he doesn't have his own flash.
Akaadian knowing he had to do a bit of work after that top gank.
Dhokla, you got to get clever to get this CS at this point. You're like, I need these.
I like that, knowing the trial by fire damage waits hits. Little mind games to keep it clean on the CS. ReignOver picks up a red, no transfer just yet as he keeps himself pretty big in the jungle. Junglers are even on CS as we see this one more time.
Yeah, and you can see there, it takes a lot. Akaadian, though, can land that Q, flashes in, grabs him with the R. And even though ReignOver's there, they get the heal out of Huhi, doesn't get the ultimate off in time. I don't think it would have done him any good anyway. It was really well timed there from PoE to also charge up the ultimate pretty much right on top of him.
Hit confirmed. Thanks, Akaadian. Let's see, 3 in command move, so Huhi just looking to get those damages in every time he can move the ball, position around powerOfEvil and keep him kind of zoned out in the lane. Looking for vision as he uses the ball for protection to get around. You can see just how wary you have to be of a Zac. Warding has to be a little different. And also, you gotta think he's just in every brush.
Yeah, he's trying to go around to check brush and then go to his blue. And so Akaadian was kind of just hovering. I think Huhi saw Akaadian place that ward that's right there on the right side of the screen.
Good pathing.
No, knows he's there, yep.
I would have went right up and gotten killed.
Most of us would.
Been like, welcome. You're welcome for the blue. I got that just for you. It looks like they still want it. Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, he's got the passive.
They hit the heal just a second ago. They know his flash is almost coming up. The timer is a sliver away. And the ultimate's missing on just a few bits of damage. Huhi's doesn't hit, and powerOfEvil's just shy.
Yeah, it looks like he really did want to pull him possibly a little bit further, get a Q on him, but can't stun lock him there. They get the ultimate, but Huhi's going to have flash up in just a second here.
Been like, your blue, my blue.
Yeah, there really isn't that much damage from the Ezreal at this point in the game. He's kind of just a poke bot, and same thing with Darshan here. You just kind of whittle them down over time. And look at that, Darshan with twice the CS. Whew. There's some differences here. I was watching like Huhi's Lucian and Licorish's Lucian, and they usually take over heal and get that little bit of extra HP. But what Darshan has done is he's actually gone for Presence of Mind instead. So when he levels up, he just kind of throws all his spells out. But look at this, they've gone into the jungle. ReignOver has just forced him out. And this is a strong side of the map for him.
So much control. ReignOver's just saying, thanks, Darshan. Look at the pressure I can create because of you now as well. They don't even have Huhi in the mid lane to be doing this. The rotation from powerOfEvil there, they say, all right, we're playing a dangerous game now. But what control so far over the top side? Yeah,
and this is kind of what this matchup is supposed to look like. Like we saw when Licorice and Huhi went against each other before, and it was kind of turned around. The GP was able to thrive.
Yeah.
Lucian was shut down and absolutely useless come into the middle game. But now I want to see what happens here when the Lucian hits that mid game. What items is he going to buy when he's not behind? How much damage is he going to be doing to these? Pretty much, there's double marksmen on either team, and really only one person or two people, 1.5 people who's going to buy some defensive items here. It's a tank top meta, Riv. It's what I was told.
So when you're feeling this good, when you're Lucian in the top side, do you join your team, or do you keep busting down top side, keep that split push?
Oh, no.
Your team can do whatever.
Screw my team. I'm just going with top lane. Like, they come to me. That's the win condition. You got to come to this lane.
Ooh. That damage coming out. Doesn't look like Darshan's going to be leaving anytime soon. Also slowly taking down the turret as well. He's had a lot of time to be at that turret, but he's just saying, I like you here, Dhokla. We'll fight as much as possible.
Is Biofrost looking for an ulti top?
Slowly wait. He was cooking up something in the river.
They want first turret, so he's coming up here to kind of force him off.
Yeah.
And make sure that the next wave is when they can get it. But you can see the answer here from OpTic. They're already sending Akaadian and Lemon.
This is that one moment when you're like, I'm okay, guys. I swear I'm baiting the kill. Just get here soon enough. And then you hope the play is not made by Darshan. A good cannon barrage does give him some room, and it kind of backs Counter Logic Gaming off of what they had set up for a little bit. So those little types of plays for OpTic are nice to actually stop CLG and maybe get some ground for themselves.
And Biofrost is going to back TP to the bottom side of the map, so he's no longer on that top side. Dhokla actually doesn't back, whereas Darshan does. Dhokla is going to get the TP out of Darshan, but we'll see if he can get that minion wave. I feel like now I'm just casting this for Dhokla. Like, it's a survival kind of top lane now. Can I actually get this? He's a scavenger. He's trying to find whatever he can. The scraps. Like, please, Mr. Lucian, I will take anything that you give me.
We need a hero. Right? You just got to start playing his theme song.
Where is everybody? His team. Team? But it's a losing matchup for him. It's one that was drafted pretty heavily from CLG to make sure that Darshan will win it. And they gave him pressure, and you can see ReignOver's up there, and they're trying to make a play on the bottom side at the same time.
You know, that's a bit of a question as well. If that happens to the lane, does Akaadian go there and say, we can patch this up? Or do you start,
leave ReignOver?
You work other lanes?
Yeah, right? The solo
goal. Get out of here.
All right, let's check what the damage is. He is up 1,700 gold at 12 minutes here. Woo. Almost twice the CS. He's been, like, really close to being twice the CS of him the entire time. At some points, he's a little bit higher, but he's going to trade that Infernal Drake for it. You can see he's up on this top side. They're trying to go for Dhokla. There it is.
Oh, 1-2. Where's the crowd control come from? Do they have one? And the other permafrost goes down. Oh, man. Fish in a barrel. Dhokla gets caught in his own. And it looks like the bot turret going to be going down after this. And they leave it to Darshan again, but I think they'll take the time. They want that pressure top. They keep spreading OpTic thin with the way they're playing.
Yeah, don't take his turret. I want to kill him more. It's that type of game. But they can't actually push it that much. They don't know where Akaadian is exactly, and he's coming to the top side. But PoE used his TP and canceled it there. So that's even more going over to the side of CLG. And I think the flash was up for Dhokla. It had just come up. But look at this. Oh, Huhi, it's actually an interrupt here instead of a cancel. So yeah.
Interesting. Good eye.
That actually ends up being full value on it, I believe. Yes, it is. So it ends up being the 285-second cooldown for the Ezreal instead of the 190. So did not cancel himself. The interrupt makes it so it is the full duration.
Lichbane now builds up a little more damage for powerOfEvil. 364 on his tier to 424. So stacking up, but they should still reach around that 20-minute mark. Get a little amp in power. But still coming online is going to be tough here for powerOfEvil. He's been getting hit up and has not been able to fight that he actually wants to. Good aggression by the bot lane. Biofrost maybe not wanting the entirety of the fight here. Not going to be 8 up. Gray health goes down, and they're actually going to try to focus as well on a Stixxay. True shot barrage sniper from downtown in the mid lane. And Stixxay gets himself out alive. Nice and cleaned up. I say powerOfEvil might have trouble. That makes me crow.
Yeah, I thought that powerOfEvil would go for, you know, an AD build, but he's got the Lichbane, like you said. So he's got that AP threat now. And throws down the ultimate, ends up getting that kill for himself. He's going to be rolling here. Whereas I was looking at it going, hey, the top lane is getting destroyed here on OpTic's side. And their bottom lane is actually down in CS, but it's a pressure point with 2 people who can actually start fights off.
Yeah.
Akaadian comes down there with the help of Dhokla's ultimate, and that's how they make those kills happen. So they really do have to get this bottom lane rolling and mid, because their top lane is something that they're just going to have to say, it'll scale later. We'll get to that point where GP is actually useful and try to make other things happen where the Lucian has too many things that he has to kind of take care of. And look at this, arrow on the bottom side. Gets rooted.
Hello.
Lanterned out, and then it was the counter hook there. LemonNation, so far this game, I think LemonNation, somebody who had not been impressed by all split long, has now actually in this game really stepped it up. That mid lane roam with the flash play was huge, and then the flash there, whew, from Biofrost puts him right in the line. So they get both flashes bottom lane, and that means that Arrow and LemonNation now have opportunities to make their own plays with their own summoner advantage.
And Darshan probably be able to take that second tier turret by himself, which means Rift Herald for an inhibitor turret to start things off if they even want to use that. So he's got a lot of time to play here on the top side. Ooh, I was going to say full kill. Blade of the Rune King went down, but Dhokla, he knows how much that hurts, and he starts to step off, still piecing together that Triforce to a finished Blade of the Rune.
Yeah, he got a little bit of gold, because remember, the ultimate will give him some assist money. Woo! The flash very early there from Huhi. So Akaadian is doing work here, getting all these flashes across the map.
It's got to feel good. They have that deep vision, or they should say they have vision on their side, denying deep vision for CLG. Everywhere he can slingshot from is a problem for CLG here. They got to cover that fog of war.
And this is one of those strategies that is much harder to do now since the removal of Tracker's Knife.
Right.
Because Darshan constantly being top lane, you have no wards in the top side jungle of OpTic's side. You can't do anything there unless you know where Akaadian is and you know that you're going to get that. So now we're seeing Darshan say, I can't actually group up on that top side by myself and just kind of push it down because we don't have enough vision. I'm going to join with the Rift Herald here and get this mid turret contribute.
Accelerate the entire map. He's done enough for his lane right now.
But it means that Dhokla does get to free farm, gets a little bit back there. I'll check his gold right now. He's still 1,600 down. So that lead that Darshan got from that first turret has actually been a little bit lessened. It's not that extreme. It hasn't been kind of running out of control just yet.
He went crazy just casting abilities, already finishing his Seraph Embrace. Still about 500 for powerOfEvil. They were almost matched up a few ago, just about by 50 on those stacks. So nice shield for him. Those ganks in mid have been abundant from Akaadian over and over.
Yeah, the difference is the fact that it's still a tier versus when he upgraded it to the Archangel staff. It's going to get him a little bit faster to that point.
The little boop.
So.
Help him out nicely.
That makes me wonder what powerOfEvil's going to do with the tier. Is that going to be an Archangel staff for the AP Ezreal? I think so, instead of a Manamune. It's an expensive build, though. One of the reasons people don't run AP mid Ezreal is he doesn't have wave clear, except for the ultimate, and he doesn't really have too much in the way of if you're just slinging all these spells out. You kind of have to hit your W, you have to hit your R, and you have to kind of use your E for burst as well.
Got to be looking to sell everything in Klepto, Futures Market, get in there.
Yeah, it is an Archangel staff. Yes.
Run into debt a little bit.
So yeah, the lack of wave clear could be interesting later on in this game for OpTic. Not really great against an Orianna in particular.
Yeah.
So he does have to hit his skill shots. It's kind of one of the reasons. It's an expensive build for somebody who doesn't have wave clear, and it's also a build that takes a little bit later to come online. But with those 2 kills, that accelerates powerOfEvil, who's right now in a really good spot in CS per minute. Already above that 10 per minute mark.
CLG grabbing a bit of vision back here and now turn right back into Fog of War, as OpTic knows that is their way into these fights. powerOfEvil said, I feel like we could take this game. This could be ours. And bring out a composition that could be getting under the skin of CLG a little bit here.
Yeah, and it's mostly off that pick potential, but CLG been playing to that top side. Lemon is going to throw another hook out. Almost hits Biofrost, but Arrow's caught. He's going to get the lantern.
Missed the W. Akaadian's in. A quick, oh no, Slingshot's in first. Looks to get the bounce together. He hits Huhi first. Doesn't really have another target, and they may not want this. At least the reset before the fight is what OpTic is looking for. Darshan's here though, and that means that's a lot of damage. So they're gonna have to look out, reset once. They may not have enough to go in, but Dhokla says we're here to position for a possible dragon.
Exactly, it's this Infernal Drake that everybody's kind of looking at here. Akaadian's gonna back during all of that havoc. Almost got taken down, but now he's going to start running back down here. Means they missed that wave top lane, so Dhokla doesn't pick that up, but then he's forced to come down bottom here. powerOfEvil's trying to chip them, weaken them before they get to this pit.
A lot of summoners for that bot lane on cooldown right now. You can see powerOfEvil, his both up, but Arrow and LemonNation are short on summoners.
Yeah, it's summoners and ultis. Right now, Akaadian has his, PoE just got his back, and Arrow has his. Versus CLG, they just have Huhi's and the Abyssal Voyage, so I actually think if a fight comes down, hold on.
Oh, True Shot Barrage just misses. Nice jump by Biofrost.
Okay, another ultimate down, but that's a flash from Darshan. Stop the...
Whoa! Doesn't get anybody as he heads back. No abduction to be had.
Another ultimate down there. So, let's see who actually does start up this dragon. Right now, CLG just backing. And OpTic, now they're starting it up finally since they have that position on it. That was a scary one for CLG. It was good from ReignOver, 100%, to get that Q in on the Sejuani, the Arctic Assault, and take down that E from Akaadian. The dragon was sliding there for a second.
Drifting drag. 20 minutes on the clock. That's 2 Infernals now for OpTic, and they actually have quite a bit of damage that's going to tack onto, I should say, abilities. Not damage. powerOfEvil easily able to thread that damage in. Dhokla as well. Could have used that as he was pushed in 196 to 154 on that top side. It looks like it's going to be more damage for Darshan here as he builds himself up with a bit of cooldown and health, getting more items.
Yeah, and so I'll talk a second here about PoE's skill order.
Please do.
So he put 4 points into Q, and then 2 points into his Arcane Shift. But then as the game went on, he actually just started maxing the W from that point. So right now, I believe he has his W maxed, and then he has 4 points in the Q. Yeah, W is maxed, 4 points Q, and then he had 2 in E. So he was basically doing, at first, the build that you do on just AD Ezreal, where you max Q and then E, and then it was 4 points, 2 points, and then he's like, all right, now it's time to max W because I have AP. So he basically played the lane phase like somebody who would eventually swap over their build. But that was really interesting because it means that he's not playing as an AP Ezreal from the get-go. He's playing for lane dominance and poke, and then he swaps over to kind of have these chunky abilities.
It was always an interesting time. You don't see that as much in League, is when you have like Lee Sin, kind of hybrid E damage. You level Q, you level E, you're a top laner, but then you switch with the mid laner who is just mitigating magic resistance, and now you can kill the mid laner. We don't really see that too often these days.
Yeah, it was something that Camille would do with like 3 points W to survive lane, then you max Q and E and stuff. Right now with Kai'Sa, 3 points Q and then max E. I do that all the time. It's actually very effective if you can figure out
in your normal games
when to do it. Yeah, exactly. Oh, on my main too. Don't worry about it.
36,000 to 33.5. And that 2 kills on powerOfEvil. We're looking for that damage. ReignOver has 2 of those for himself, which made him tanky, but has to be the one in the forefront. Akaadian can kind of match that tankiness.
Right now, Darshan has not been able to find more ground versus this Gangplank, who now has Trinity Force and is able to clear out waves a little bit easier.
That's a good point. We kind of saw him owning everything earlier. Was the Darshan show, and now it's kind of like, who's going to be on stage next?
Exactly. 50 CS down. That's actually not that damning because you look at the bottom. Arrow is about that same amount down. Where he didn't have as much pressure on him. So Dhokla is, in my opinion, effectively pretty much back in this game. He's only 1,200 gold down, so he's been able to kind of shrink that lead that Darshan had. And so this comes down to the Lucian finding how he operates in this game without an enormous lead that's been compounding on itself. He hasn't been able to find more than just that Rift Herald into that middle turret. Now he's going to try and maybe crack that bottom one, which is low, but Bio, he's gone.
OpTic takes a bio break in mid. Take him down.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
They have control on that one now, and it looks like they're going to start taking control over top side jungle. We kind of talked about it in the beginning that it's either Dhokla or Zig in that top lane, and they get focused over and over. I mean, that was ReignOver's first focus, so he has weathered one hell of a storm here. So now have the team controlling the rest of the map. He's still holding Darshan on the bot side, but they pick up mid with some pressure.
Yeah, Darshan and both Dhokla sitting on 1,600 gold now. But the Ninja Tabi's doing a lot for Dhokla, making sure that he doesn't actually just get destroyed in this matchup. Now he has a lot of HP behind it. And checking back in on builds here, ReignOver went for the Adaptive Helm instead of the Warmogs as that first item. And that's only going to help him really against the Zac. The Ezreal, I don't think, has low enough cooldowns really to make it so that you get...
Hitting multiple.
Yeah, because it's magic damage that you take, and Ezreal's Q is physical damage. So it's Adaptive Helm is only magic damage, so that's... I really don't like that, personally. I think it's only just for the Akaadian matchup, and I guess it's some MR, but it helps him against PoE's Ezreal a bit too, just because it has MR on it.
Yeah. We were wondering about that build. It wasn't the Warmog, but it is for Akaadian.
Yeah, for Akaadian.
He hits it. It's Zac.
But it's funny because Akaadian has the Cinderhulk and then he has the Warmog, but he actually has 3,090 HP.
health.
So he actually has the break point for it.
That's what I noticed. I was like, wait a minute, because Sejuani definitely doesn't at that point if you don't have the levels as well.
Yeah.
But that's funny for Zac.
That's actually so weird. Yeah, because I did it all the time on Sejuani and she doesn't have that 3,000 HP.
Ooh, Dhokla gets hit by the Arden. Ooh, throws down the cannon barrage face to face in the fight. He says, wait, I'm going to second guess this one. Underneath the turret, Tahm Kench coming in. Biofrost is there, gets the lick to stick. And they take down Dhokla. He had to flash as well. But teleport for him to get back somewhere. What is CLG going to do with this, though?
Well, that means Darshan, he has the opportunity to actually take that turret, but he's going to try to get back out on the map here.
Maybe?
There we go. He canceled his back. He's going to get that turret. Finally, they find a way to revisit this lane that they had drafted for, and they're trying to push. But right now, for Darshan, it's great that he's picking up all this gold, but at the same time, he's 0-0-3. He hasn't gotten any of those kills, and he could be accelerated even further, but they've just been trying to keep Dhokla down.
Support top lane, bro.
Pretty much.
That's how it works.
But now he's back to being 1,700 gold up over this GP. And missed Shockwave there, and now he doesn't have it.
Dodge it, left, right. The curtain has been called, but is it the end of the show? For ReignOver and Huhi, he is going to go down to that ignite, that hit. And now they're onto the backside of the fight. It's going to possibly be Biofrost going down. We just saw him go down in mid, comes back up, goes down the top side after he makes a play in the bottom. And as CLG scrambles, OpTic scrambles harder.
Yeah, now they're going to look for maybe Darshan here. He's got not as much HP.
Not in a good spot as OpTic is now able to start picking CLG apart.
And that might be the Baron there for OpTic. It's only Stixxay and ReignOver available. That was a huge play from OpTic.
A nice easy Baron on a Saturday afternoon here for OpTic as we finish out the last game of day one. And what a turnaround here to start things off. Getting Darshan going on the top side was what it was about. Picking that Lucian last and figuring out where he was going to go. That was the idea of ReignOver, CLG, and the top side of the map. But OpTic had a different idea. They were seeing into the future, and they had a different thing in mind.
Arrow's W gets the Banshee's Veil off of Huhi. Then there's the smite to slow him while he's in the air, so he can't actually move that much away afterwards. So Huhi being slowed and then the flash actually down instead of up is really what gets him killed there. So he misses Shockwave, he doesn't get a good flash there, and he's just completely outplayed by the members of OpTic, and he also wasn't playing right on point in that moment. They were able to exploit Huhi, and then they get 3 kills off of that because CLG are just trying to reinforce.
Where to next? Look at all that vision around Baron. Beautiful. Tear to the eye.
Oh man, that's everybody's control.
It is everybody's control word. The third and final Infernal Drake has been picked up this game. We will not see any more of those, and this Ocean Drake will be our last before we see the Elders.
Yeah, they traded that Baron for that last Infernal. It would have been triple Infernal for a Jhin team, one that has multiple marksmen on it. That would have been ideal, but the Baron is really like, you're in that position, you go ahead and you take that.
Kaboom. No banners? No banners. They're just running down the bot lane with Baron. Knight's Vow, LemonNation, keeping everybody safe as they make their moves. Finally, 2 items completed on most of their members. 3 now. That Rabadon's came out quite quick for powerOfEvil.
Yeah, it did. That was a really fast Rabadon's death cap. We'll see, what's his AP at right now? 630. Woo. His W does about 760 damage based off the tooltip.
It's like an ult. It's like True Shot Barrage.
Yeah, his ultimate says it does about 1,200 damage if you have no magic resistance. Yeah. And if you're the first target hit. So.
Yeah, that'll stick.
But now they get to push down. Remember, OpTic, one of their biggest weaknesses was closing games out. They've always struggled with that, and now they throw down Akaadian.
I like it. Now they're not even giving the team a chance to think about getting that game closed out. The inhibitor turret going to go down. Dhokla pushing down the mid lane, grabs a second turret for them. The Q connects, and Stixxay is down. His first death in quite a while on that AD carry position, and now OpTic headed towards the mid lane.
They're going to get that one and that inhibitor as well. That's 2 inhibs down off of this Baron. There's a big power play there from OpTic. Remember, this was a game where that Lucian was just smashing top, and then Arrow, he's still down in CS substantially.
OpTic seeing how that lane could have spread, stopping it very, very well. Akaadian focusing the bot side, knowing Dhokla was getting hit up too much, now big enough to make initiations past the inhibitor turrets time after time. And they have the Lantern to get out safely if they do bite off more than they can chew. OpTic are out with 3 inhib turrets down and 2 of the inhibs.
Yeah, and that last fight, Stixxay, he goes down because mostly, watch this, on the top side, I think he's actually kind of dead to rights. The options get covered. He's slow here, he has to kite up, and then afterwards he gets hit once. Now he's staying on the side of the Jhin ulti. He can't walk back in, but then he gets punked by the GP barrel above him, and he can't move to the left. And as soon as the ultimate is down from Jhin, PoE goes in. So Stixxay is caught between a rock and a hard place there. If somebody's blocking for him and taking everything instead, then he's in a better spot. But once he's forced off to the side and Dhokla is there, he's really just kind of dead on either side.
Props to Akaadian having a very good start to this game. We're actually putting himself in a position where he can be just an all-out initiator.
He got a lot of flashes.
A lot of flashes back and forth, and then he just has the confidence to go in that the team's going to be there. Really hasn't even had to lose a passive in one of these fights, 2-0-5.
Yeah, he hasn't been popped at all, I believe. And Akaadian has been doing work. He's gotten multiple flashes. He's capitalized on LemonNation getting the flash mid, but also being top to stop a complete snowball from CLG is right where he needs to be. He understood what they wanted to do to win, and he also didn't panic when it looked like CLG were going to keep going towards that strategy. As a jungler, playing to your weak side of the map feels awful, and he was able to do it and stop a snowball. And we'll see if he takes this E. He's charging up every single time. There he goes.
8,000 gold Baron play puts them in for another fight. The ball watching Huhi, where he places it. Command Shockwave is ready. ReignOver can follow up with the crowd control, but the damage has to be delivered by Stixxay and Huhi here. Darshan clearing out waves for now as he now enters in, tries to get a few shots for himself, and he can actually hit from the side. That's going to be Akaadian entering the fight. He doesn't really have a target that he wants, so Chain of Corruption's onto him. First passive pop goes down as Zach is blobbed out. Huhi on the left side. Dhokla focuses the inhibitor as they take more of the base and just start to wear counter Logic Gaming Finn. It only take a few shots from powerOfEvil to take down Darshan as they look at the rest of the base.
powerOfEvil does so much damage if he's able to land his abilities on that target with the help there of Arrow, just chunking him out.
Definitely a guy you know to have fun picks, fun builds, and fun play in his repertoire coming in. That's going to be the kill onto Huhi, and that is it. OpTic at 4-12, looking to put a final mark here in week 9 of the NALCS, and it looks like they're going to do it in great fashion. Akaadian puts a little mark on the step of the fountain as he etches his name in with the team for one last kill. 7-0-5 for powerOfEvil as they look to take down the Nexus and look to take down Counter Logic Gaming.
And PoE said it, you know, if CLG want to make playoffs, they got to get through us. even if it didn't end up mattering at the end of the day for CLG making it in, they still weren't able to make it through OpTic today.
OpTic was ready to make it very, very tough. And you can see, very happy with that Akaadian play. A quick pat on the shoulder, and then to the rest of the team that was just able to follow up on the communication. And I think able to follow up on, a big word here is the resilience in the early game for OpTic. To make sure that, or to know, I should say, that the rest of the game can be picked up by the other parts of the team.
And the fact that OpTic Gaming, they've lost 5 games in a row, this has got to feel great for them. Even though it doesn't mean, you know, playoffs or anything like that.
Right.
Still, just getting a win here is huge for them going into summer.
Dhokla staving off the pain as well throughout that.
Yes.
I mean, and that's the flip to the other side as well. Darshan having such a dominant game, kind of back to what we know Darshan to be in that Zion Spartan form of pushing a lane as Jax, dominating even if the jungler wasn't there. But they just weren't able to push that around the map and get it to play out. OpTic with that victory, and right now we're going to send it over to OpTic and OpTic Gaming's terrifying Star Guardian in the mid lane.
Guys, powerOfEvil, congratulations on that victory for OpTic. I want to ask you, you pulled out the mid Ezreal that game and dominated with him. Tell me about that pick.
Well, so Ezreal itself is a flex pick since we can put a mid lane and bot lane, which helps us doing the draft, first of all. Then we find out, or I found out that it's a really good pick into Orianna. She can't really punish you that much. You can easily like dodge the shockwave if you e-spell, and you have a lot of poke, like you can just outrange her. And through the early game, Zach just helped me a lot with the ganks, so I think we played pretty good, and we just dominated them exactly how our team comp was supposed to do.
Both a fun and successful pick for you. This is actually, you're ending your first split playing in the NA LCS. What were your highlights?
Well, I think we had a lot of really close games. Most of them we lost, but they were all really exciting, and I think the experience itself just playing here was really great. It's really great because, as I already said in many interviews, it's like an expansion pack. You're playing like new players, new mid laners, new teams. It's really fun and like really exciting to play solo queue and meet all these new people, so it's really cool.
Did any mid laners or teams in particular stick out to you?
I think it's mostly just like how the teams communicate and how they behave and stuff like this. It's like different to Europe, so it's really fun.
And what are your plans for the off-season?
Well, so my plans are going home and visiting my family, and then probably going to Korea to boot camp. I'm not sure who is going to join me off my team, but I will do it for sure, just to keep improving. And I really love Korean solo queue, so I will do it for sure.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with that. Congratulations again on your win. And to wrap up the day, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, OpTic. OpTic Gaming picking up a victory here against CounterLogic Gaming. Of course, CounterLogic Gaming already out of the playoffs coming into this matchup because of the success from both TSM and Team Liquid today. But OpTic winning in kind of a styling fashion in the sense that the Ezreal pick in the mid lane worked out big for them, while their top laner, Dhokla, got abused by a Lucian pick.
Yeah, both teams trying to style a little bit. That Lucian, like you said, doing work at the beginning, massive CS lead, but the dive wasn't super clean. They continue to pull those dives off, though. This one goes a little better.
Yeah, pretty ridiculous game with how far behind Dhokla was, but how farmed and pretty safe powerOfEvil was staying in the mid lane. We saw some shenanigans in the bottom lane as well. Akaadian trying to get involved in. Like, I think maybe there was a bit of a deflation before this game for CLG after watching TSM and TO win, knowing they can no longer make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But you'd still want them to come out strong and try and finish with the 6-0, but OpTic wasn't having it. The GP Jhin Ezreal comp, just, they pulled it together.
Did you not see that in Korea last night?
Yeah, Korea, the boot camp.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that was a come-down game probably for CLG, where it's hard to maintain that level of focus if you're heading into the day expecting to fight for your playoff spot.
Right, yeah, the win just gets taken out of you, and that's
I
to
think
some degree.
so.
But as well, I mean, another Jhin game on the day, another successful Jhin game at that. So when we talk about kind of the evolving AD carry meta, where Tristana got some nerfs and fell out of priority, Jhin definitely stepping up. So it should be interesting to see how that changes the landscape of League of Legends moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jin's in right now. Look at that Q, man. That was like 800 damage. I told you.
Wow. Yeah, that was the whole time.
Yeah,
wait till he gets items.
Wait late.
Yeah, sure.
Any mage that gets Lich Bane plus Seraph's
Cap,
Death
yeah,
Cap,
Seraphs.
yeah.
Right, it's 5-0 and
double
2.
mountain or double infernal.
Infernal, yeah.
I can't imagine what Cassio would look like.
Yeah, I was saying he's going to do most damage in this game. I really want to see
Did he
it.
really? Well, I mean, that seems natural.
Hey,
He's
most
Ezreal.
damage.
I mean, come on.
I mean, he is
That
with
can't
the
be that hard
GP
to
on
call.
his team. GP does a lot of damage
That's
when
true.
he's not dead. 3 times under his turret against Lucian.
Double
I mean,
Infernal.
Well, and that's the thing. You see the the damage coming out from Lucian, but that was probably front loaded essentially because of all the harassment he was able to put down in lane, and so kind of stonewalled on damage there for CLG. But ultimately, OpTic comes out on top. 5-12. Of course, they can't threaten anyone in the playoff picture. Heard a little bit about powerOfEvil and his plans for the off season, looking towards a boot camp in Korea. But this is one of the teams that we had talked about, when we, just the other week when we were doing the segment around what should teams be looking towards in the off season.
Yeah.
Do we have any more thoughts around OpTic Gaming?
I think, powerOfEvil shows that he's really solid. I think they should continue to try out top laners.
Yep.
And just try as best they can if they want to get Dhokla or Zig more up to speed on what they think the meta is going to be. But if they can shore that up, they got a pretty good team.
They have a nice carry core of Arrow and powerOfEvil, so I think they have a lot of good stuff starting there. Akaadian actually played decent this split all season long. Didn't stand out quite as much as some other people, but he didn't have strong laners to do so.
All right, that's going to bring us rather to the conclusion of day one. Talking too fast for my own good. As we wrap up the day, let's take a look at the standings. We have our 6 teams locked for the playoffs, but where they seed into the postseason bracket is still left to be seen. There's Echo Fox, who is locked to bye, while 100 Thieves and Cloud9 are tied in second, followed up by a 3-way tie between them, or rather behind them, is between Clutch Gaming, Team Liquid, and TSM. If we look at the predictions, though, we see how you two stacked up against Deficio.
I'm so close.
And it pains me to tell you guys that
At least my dog picked Team Liquid, so if you added my
No,
dog
that's not how that works.
to my predictions,
No.
I would have
Not
4 out
quite.
of 5.
But I do feel it necessary to call attention to one analyst, or rather one
slave
minion, Vedius, who did come out with a 100% prediction rate on the day, the only one to call an OpTic win in our 5th game of the day.
100 Thieves or Clutch?
Who?
No, Vedius
called only the 5th game of the day.
And then Deficio.
Oh, so the
100 opposite.
And then Deficio chose not to listen to his wisdom.
But technically, he only picked 1 game.
Yeah,
I'm not giving him
100%
that.
win rate on 1 game.
I also find it really funny how we're like, you know what? The best we could do is 60%. I did 60%. Deficio's at 60. Let's see who can do better. And we both
went
60%. We went 3-2. But Vedius, if you're up super late, still watching, I want to see all 5 of his predictions tomorrow.
Well, so
I wouldn't mind.
Deficio couldn't beat us.
I wouldn't
I
mind.
think there might have been a miscommunication because Deficio kind of sounded like he was helping us out, but I think he was trying to confuse us secretly. Versus,
or
he
was that
wants
just
to
a
beat us.
guys? Was he just building in
I don't
an
know.
excuse? This seems
Yeah,
like
maybe.
a very, Danish thing to do. I don't
Is that? I don't know.
I don't know. He was all big on the Danes and that being the reasoning why he would call people to win. But
I still have not lost
100%.
to any of our challengers. The coin, the darts,
Did I lose that
the
one?
fans. What else did we do? I haven't lost yet.
Have I lost to any of
I've
these?
tied. You have. You lost to...
Well, Joel, did you lose to Joel?
No,
I
we
tied
tied
Joel.
Joel.
Tied Joel?
Joel had
Yeah.
to do a second day because they tied the first.
Yeah,
and
then we beat Joel the
All
second
right,
time.
Vidius, you're my last hope, dude. Last day of week 9
gonna
regular
be
season.
undefeated
Hit me with
with
those picks so that we can
Your dog's
we can
beating
see
you.
how you do against these guys tomorrow. That does bring us to our games tomorrow. Of course, we got Cloud9 versus FlyQuest, Golden Guardians versus Clutch. CLG versus TSM should be an exciting game. They're going to hope to prove themselves, even though it essentially amounts for nothing standings-wise. And then we have Echo Fox versus 100 Thieves, and what could result in a tiebreaker for a first-round bye in the event of a 100 Thieves victory. So all eyes on that one.
I mean, this is so crazy. Like, all of the teams playing in all 5 games could be part of that tie for a playoff bye. So even though we have the playoff teams exactly set, playoff bye's up in the air.
It's funny how crazy this weekend looked heading into it, but if you saw this weekend as it stands now, it would still be crazy generally. It's just that compared to a 6-way tie for first, it's not as insane as what it could have been.
I feel like the whole split's gone to chalk. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
this is-
people had TSM.
yeah, I know
one
this
of
is
the
what
power
Jet. This was
rankings.
basically Jet's power rankings from week
Yeah,
1.
CLG's
It's
on
actually
top.
working out. Anyway,
Thanks, Josh.
that's going to do it for us here. So for my casters, myself, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for spending your St. Patrick's Day with us, and we'll see you tomorrow for the end of the NALCS regular season. Good night.
Don't leave us, man.